Have you ever found yourself starting strong, full of hope, determination, and vision, only to lose that momentum halfway through? You knew where you wanted to go, but somehow your heart just couldn't keep up. And when a setback comes, it feels like everything falls apart, as if you're right back where you started. The excitement fades, the hope wavers, and that desire for change or restoration begins to feel like an illusion, a promise that was never meant to last. Welcome back to Journey Life Together, where we pause, reflect, and rediscover the deeper parts of ourselves, one episode at a time. And this episode is part of Season 4, the Restoration series, where we explore what it means to restore a heart that has grown weary, to reignite the passion that life may have dimmed, and to reimagine a life once filled with hope, a life where nothing feels impossible. I know making meaningful changes in life isn't easy. Sometimes we start with hope and zeal, only to find ourselves stuck, unsure of how to move forward, as if the progress we imagined is slipping away. That's exactly why this season is here, to explore ways we can gently reconnect with what matters most and keep moving forward even when it feels hard. If you have journeyed with me from these two episodes, A New Beginning and A New Vision, then today's episode, A New Heart, will feel like the next step in your journey. If you haven't listened to those episodes yet, I encourage you to start from A New Beginning so you can follow this journey from the very start. Let's recap. In the first episode of Season 4, A New Beginning, we learned that awareness is the first step towards restoration. And then in the following episode, A New Vision, we discovered the importance of having a clear direction, something to move towards with purpose and resolve. But now we arrive at the hardest part, staying on course. Because sometimes, even with a clear vision, we stumble. The fire that once burned bright begins to fade. We know what we should do, but our emotions, our fears, our doubts, they pull us back to the old patterns. And that's where the heart comes in. Our heart, shaped by years of experiences, both good and painful, can become the greatest obstacle to our growth. For some, the fear of failure is stronger than the courage to try. For others, it's the memories of rejection or the shame that whisper louder than any words of encouragement that perhaps has incapacitated us from growth. So even when the vision is clear, the heart hesitates. It clings to what's familiar, even if it's painful, because that's what it knows best. Before we can cultivate a new heart, we must first understand the old one. As trauma healing author Michelle Rosenta reminds us, the challenges we face shape us. Healing is about creating a new version of yourself, one that is stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. This means that the heart we carry today isn't random, it's shaped by the experiences we have lived through. The old heart may be easily discouraged, quick to give up, slow to forgive. It might see pain more than possibility, fear more than faith, and sometimes it's a reflection of our past, shaped by moments we felt unseen, unheard, or unworthy. These wounds don't just disappear with time, they stay hidden beneath our confidence, waiting to be understood. And until we tend to them, they keep us from truly growing. But knowing and naming these patterns is only the first step. The next step is learning to treat yourself with the same care, patience, and understanding you wish you had received. For some of us, there's a part of ourselves that feels disappointed easily, discouraged, or dejected. This part of us may quietly whisper, warning us not to take risks, telling us it's not worth it, or insisting we cannot make it. And yet, this same part also holds a deep longing to be seen, to be heard, and to be comforted, if only we take the time to listen. Now, to give ourselves permission to grow anew, we must cultivate this part of ourselves, the part that can encourage us when we blame ourselves for making mistakes again, the part that can forgive us when we fail, and the part that can help us see hope even in the most difficult moments. By acknowledging and nurturing this lost or wounded part, we're not just moving forward, we're restoring a part of our heart that has always longed to be whole. As Jenna Remersa writes in this book, Altogether You, she said, "You're not alone, and you don't have to stay stuck. You are human, and all parts of you are welcome." This reminds us that there are parts of us that can despair easily. Rather than rejecting them or shutting them away, we can embrace them alongside the stronger parts of ourselves that can stand up for us moment by moment. It's a beautiful image to look at both our hands, our master and non-master hand. One is stronger, the other is weaker and more vulnerable, but both are important and both are welcome. When we learn to welcome all parts of ourselves, we are teaching our new heart what it means to truly accept ourselves even when the world cannot. We learn to hold our pain, to understand what it is trying to teach us. We see our shortcomings, our failures, and acknowledge that being imperfect is part of being human. And in our failings, we can be gentle with ourselves, recognizing what we are still learning. When we allow ourselves to grow with a spirit that is kind, patient, and non-critical, our new heart can open fully, and in that openness, it can flourish. Dear friends, when we welcome all parts of ourselves, the vulnerable and discouraged, the stronger and resilient, we begin to nurture the heart we have been longing for. Let's take a quiet moment to connect with that heart. Be gentle with yourself as you reflect. You've tried, you've stumbled, yet you are here, still growing. And that is not a weakness. That is the part of you that has never given up, even when it was hard. You are still here, showing up, trying, and that means a lot. If you feel comfortable, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes with me and try to imagine the younger version of yourself. How old is he or she? A child or teen? Picture that face, familiar yet distant, and quietly call out his or her name. Gently, now speak to that younger self. What words of comfort, appreciation, or encouragement would you say to that younger version of yourself? How would you help him or her feel safe, seen, or valued? Now take a deep breath in from your nose and slowly exhale from your mouth. And as you do so, I'd like you to imagine releasing that grace that flows from within, the grace that allows you to forgive, to love, and be kind to yourself, flowing from the present you to the past you. Because healing begins when your heart remembers that it was never truly alone. As as you bring your attention back to this moment, may you always carry that gentle spirit within you, a heart that can hold pain and still flourish. A heart that can take responsibility for your choices, but don't carry them as shame. A heart that can be humble enough to learn, not to prove. And most of all, a heart that can reconnect to the very part of you that still believes in yourself, that change is possible. Dear friends, perhaps you may not have someone who told you it's okay to try again, you're not a failure for failing, but today you can be that voice for your younger self. Now as you return to the present moment, carry that grace with you. Let it shape how you see yourself today, not through the lens of what went wrong, but through what can still be made right. Because this is how a new heart begins to grow. One that forgives, one that endures, one that loves with understanding. And like a plant that grows in the fields, your heart too needs nurturing. Growth doesn't happen overnight. It takes patience, care, and time. But with every act of kindness towards yourself, every moment of courage to face your pain, you're tending the soil of your becoming. And in time, you will reap what you sown. May this new heart mark the beginning of your restoration, a return to your truest self, one that is whole, alive, and free. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Journey Life Together. If today's message spoke to you, share it with someone who might just need that little reminder to find that new heart. I'd love to hear your reflections or feedback from today's episode. Feel free to share your thoughts with me in the comments below. And once again, the views, expressions, and suggestions shared in this episode are for educational and informational purposes only. They're not intended to replace advice from your therapist, doctor, or other healthcare professionals. If you have any questions or concerns about your situation that arose while listening to this episode, please seek guidance from a therapist or qualified professional. Until next time, join me in the next episode of Journey Life Together.